Buying a gift for a video editor does not need to be expensive to be great. So here's a list of 9 fantastic presents for under 99 bucks. These are all things that I've bought with my own money and still use all the time, and the best thing is that they're actual physical things that you can unwrap and stuff in a stocking, or you could even buy and wrap one of these up for yourself. Alright, gift number 1 is actually 3 different ways to stay organized and travel with video footage. I'm talking about memory card and hard drive cases. Have you ever stuffed a bare SD card into your wallet after a shoot? I've done that more times than I can count, so I started using this plastic credit card size SD card holder. It fits right inside my Topo Designs wallet, just like any other credit card, and it keeps the contacts on the SD card from getting damaged. It looks cheap, it is cheap, but it hasn't failed me after a full year of use, and it lives in my wallet full time. It comes in a few different colors, and it's the perfect stocking stuffer. Check out the ThinkTank Pocket Rocket memory card case for long-term card storage. ThinkTank makes super high-quality bags and accessories for photography. The version I have here is called the SD Pixel Pocket Rocket, which is great, but only holds SD cards. The one I have linked in the description will also store CFast 2.0 cards and the new Sony CF Express Type A cards, in addition to the regular old SD cards. This is protective, but still flexible, but it actually holds the cards in place, unlike the old Pelican card cases. I don't know if you've had one of these or seen one of these. They're hard, which is great, but you open them up and the cards just fall out. That seems to happen on all of them. And of course, an excellent hard drive case is essential for video editors because I don't know a hobby or profession that uses more drives than us. I've been using a hard clamshell case from Hermit Shell that I found on Amazon. This one holds up to 3 Samsung T7 drives. I've actually got 2 T7s and a T5 in here, and you can even sneak another SSD in here if you want to. I've got a SanDisk that's snuck in here, and the best part is it keeps all the cables too. I like having all the drives inside one protected place, and this case gets the job done. Look around, they also have options for just 1 or 2 hard drives if that works better for your needs. Moving on to gift idea number 2 is a Yeti Rambler 20-ounce coffee mug with a mag slider lid. I'm by no means a coffee expert, but I probably drink more coffee in a day than anybody you know. It's a problem I have, but it's also a problem that most editors have, and this is the best mug to have in your edit bay. It keeps your coffee hot for hours with the lid on, and the fun magnetic lid, this thing right here, listen to that. It prevents accidental spills onto your keyboard. It also fits into any car cup holder. It's bomber proof. I've dropped this onto the sidewalk several times with no issues, and you can order customized mugs like this one if you take pride in being a fan of one of the best baseball teams of all time. Skip the lens coffee mugs. They look fun, but really they just suck as a mug, and go with a 20-ounce Yeti. The next gift is a giant desk mouse pad. Check this out. I learned about these about 10 years ago from another editor that I worked with, and he insisted on using one. The exact model that I use isn't sold on Amazon anymore, but there are many similar or better options out there. It's going to protect your desk, it's easy to clean, and it'll make a softer surface for your hands and can make your mouse perform a little bit better. Some of them even provide a pop of color if that's something you're into. I've got yellow on this side on this one and then blue on the other. Some are made of pleather. That's what this one is. Some are more legit and they have leather. So this one I've got right here, I don't like the color as much, but this one's leather and feels really nice. And then there's nothing wrong with the classic mouse texture, this one right here, this kind of pad either. Just pick something that's at least 3 feet wide and you're going to have plenty of extra workspace. Gift number 4 is a great one if you're new to learning DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro and aren't quite familiar with the shortcut keys. These are silicone keyboard shortcut key cover skins. They sit right on top of your existing keyboard. This is pretty awesome. They're color-coded, and they help you learn to work with your keyboard more and your mouse less to perform all the most common editing commands. This is going to speed up your editing time. DaVinci Resolve does, of course, have a super fancy $600 keyboard, which I'd love to try out one day. Wink, wink, black magic. But a cover skin like this should not break the bank. Even after you know the shortcuts by heart, they're still great because they're going to protect your keyboard from food crumbs and drink spills that inevitably are going to happen. And the material they make these out of also makes your typing a little bit quieter. Now just make sure you stay away from sticker packs that go onto the keyboard at all costs, because if you put stickers on there, that's a recipe for a gross keyboard in no time. Trust me. I have an Avid Media Composer and Final Cut Pro skin from KB covers, but Editor's Keys has great options too. Just make sure to check the size of your specific keyboard. Gift number 5 is for those of us that have big 5-inch reference speaker monitors and need more desk space. While working as a post-production or technical director, I've installed this specific, inexpensive speaker mount into more than a dozen edit suites, and they work just fine. Like most things, they're made in China by a company called Video Secu, and they have a clamp system that holds the speaker in place from left to right. You can also screw the mount into the speaker cabinet if you want, but it's not totally necessary to do that. Now, the trick that I use to place them in any drywall without studs is the same that I use for mounting TVs. Use quality toggle bolts. Toggler Snap Toggle are my favorite, but there's others. Just make sure you plan to spend about $1 per bolt. Moving to gift number 6, this one's going to save you time. Lots of time if you edit multicam shoots or you work with multiple SD cards in a single project. This is the StarTech 4-slot UHS-2 SD card reader. I use this card reader to plug in up to 4 UHS-2 SD cards from a single shoot to dump the footage simultaneously. It supports up to 10 gigabits per second over the USB Type-C connection, so it's fast, but why I like it the most is that if you're dumping 128 gigabytes per card, you can just set it to copy and forget it while you go get some fresh coffee in that new Yeti mug. You're not waiting for one card to finish to plug in the next one. Now, StarTech, it's a company I've never heard of, but I took a chance on buying this reader, and it's been great, so they have my full recommendation. Now, pro tip here, if you're not already using UHS-2 cards, you should be. They offload way faster than the older UHS-1 cards, and you can purchase V60 UHS-2 cards pretty inexpensively, so that's also going to save you some time. Sony MDR7506 headphones are my 7th suggestion on the list. These are the industry standard. I use the older MDR V6, which is similar to the 7506, but it's not available anymore. So I strongly recommend the Sony MDR 7506 if you really want to hear all that's happening in your audio recordings and mixing, and you should. They produce an uncolored sound, unlike most of the consumer headphones out there like AirPods. You don't have to deal with any of the wireless Bluetooth audio connection or latency issues, which can happen in DaVinci Resolve when you're not plugged in, because these have a 9-foot coiled cable. It's awesome. It's just like those cables we used to have hanging on the wall connected to our telephones. Remember those? Now, whatever you do, don't wrap the headphone cable up like this, okay? It destroys the perfect coil, right? Save the coils. It's my pet peeve. Another plus for the classic Sony MDR 7506 headphones is that they actually come with a 1/4-inch audio adapter. It just screws in to here like this. So it's going to work with any audio interface you'll come across in the future. And when the ear pads wear out from the ear pads rubbing on your beard after a decade of use, I can tell you this from experience, you can replace just the ear pads for cheap. For gift idea number 8, I have 2 mice suggestions for you. Logitech makes the best mice out there. You buy once, you cry once, and you're set for many years ahead. Now, the first mouse I recommend is the Logitech G600. It's a wired MMO gaming mouse, actually. I have a video about how I programmed this for video editing using all the side thumb buttons. This mouse is a steal, and it's excellent. However, I'm currently unable to use the Logitech gaming software on my Apple M1 Max computer, which is what you need to use that mouse. So if you're using an M1 computer, I don't suggest buying the G600 at this moment. The other mouse I recommend is the Logitech MX Master 3, which comes in right under a $99 budget for the gift list. I love the ergonomic feel of this mouse. There's a left to right side scroll wheel, which is super handy to navigate timelines in any video editing software. I've got the Mac version here, and there's also a non-Mac version. The main difference between the two, besides the color, is that the non-Mac version also has a USB dongle that you can use instead of relying on the wireless Bluetooth connection. Now, I haven't had any issues with the Bluetooth connectivity or programming on the newer M1 machines, so the Logitech MX3 Master has my full recommendation. Last but certainly not least is the Rode PodMic dynamic microphone, which you've been listening to me for this entire video, even though I've been a little bit sick. Now, every editor needs to record some voiceover at some point, even if it's just a scratch recording. It works perfectly also for just upping your game on the next Zoom meeting, and the catch to why I like using this one is because it's a dynamic microphone instead of a condenser mic. So it works great in rooms that aren't treated for recording audio, like this one, and it helps ignore background sounds. This specific Rode microphone has a super durable build quality, so it's going to last for a very long time. And since it's an XLR microphone, you're still going to need a USB interface like a Focus Scarlett or a camera with XLR ports to use it. Right now I'm connected into a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. And speaking of being connected, I'd love to connect with you in the comments. I'm Chadwick, and this is Creative Video Tips, which is here to help you create videos to make a difference and stand out. My favorite thing is to help teach you all the little tricks and tips in DaVinci Resolve and sometimes even Final Cut Pro too, too. So if you're into that, subscribe right now. But more importantly, if you want to learn something you didn't already know about post-production, and I think I can promise you that you will, click on the playlist or video that's on screen right now. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you in that next video.
What a feeling, now it's time for Christmas. And Christmas is my favorite time of year.